welcome, or if you're returning, welcome back. It's been a crazy day. I'm a little late here. I got a phone call. I was needed. Maybe I'll go into that later. For now, let's get into things. First, I want to thank everyone who watched to the end of my last video, who commented, who shared their experiences. So far, things are normal here. Nothing has really changed, and I don't want to make this a running series where I talk about the stress of life with everything going on. Yes, I have empathy and I'm concerned, but I want this to be a space where you can kind of escape from that, where you can see beautiful art, pieces that artists have created and they've allowed us to recreate using floss and fabric. So we're going to keep that the focus of the channel. And every now and then I'll throw in a couple, funny things that have happened, but I want this to be a fun place and a place you can go to escape life, right? To escape what's going on. Excuse the hair. It was wet when I had to take off and it was windy, and yeah, we'll get into that later. So first up, what do I have for you today? I have several page finishes. I have some FFOs. I have a new start. I also have another new start planned. I have lots of progress. I have a new rotation. I'm going to kind of tweak my rotation just a little, and I'll go into why I'm doing that here shortly. So you want to see some cross stitch? Let's start with the FFOs. Well, let's start with one that's not quite finished. I have a Mill Hill chick. I think this one's the aqua. And you can see I did this on fabric instead of perforated paper, because what I intend to do is to sew the two together and stuff it with a little bit of cotton and kind of to give it some 3D dimensional. So that's not quite finished yet. I have my spring eggs all finished. So here's, I have the whole set. So what I did is I added a little bit of thread. This is pearl cotton. I just have some extra. And I ran that through some Self Adhesive felt and then just attached them so you don't see the thread coming through the top. And I trimmed them down just so you would see a little bit of the Mystic Aida that I used. And so I did all 5. All 5. So here's 3 more. And here's the other 2. And I have a small, bare branch tree with LED lights. And I'll put a picture in of now I don't have all my Easter stuff up, but I just put these on to show you what they will look like. So this is what they look like on my tree. Okay, so those are the FFOs. Let's start with a new start. So, oh shoot, I didn't bring the picture. Okay. I started my Mill Hill. Last time I told you I went on a shopping spree, and one of the things I bought was, I'll put a picture in here, Santa with Cardinal. This is a Jim Shore Santa, and I started it. So that's where I've gotten to. I hate sorting the threads, and so what I end up doing, because there are some that are so close in color, that I end up having to get out my master set and comparing and making sure I have the right color. And I just stuck them on. This is a card, and I just stuck them on here. I don't like this. This is not how I like to stitch, but just for, a few things, I'm okay with it. But it's not my go-to type of floss organization. So that was my new start. I have a new one coming up, but we'll get to that. Let's start with the, I have focus pieces, then I have things that are just kind of picked up from time to time. And the first one tends to be a favorite. This is from Just Cross Stitch magazine. This was the Christmas edition 2023. It was either December or Christmas 2023. And it will look like, it should look like this. This is snowflake silhouette. And I changed the fabric for an 18 count barnwood by Picture This Plus. and I was working down here. So I'll bring that in. Isn't that pretty? So this is not white, this is 3753. And I just realized when I was working on it, I thought I had the tree done. No, I have the first color. There's 2 more colors in that tree. But here, I'll put a before in here so you can see what I've done. And yeah, I've just picked this up every now and then and throw in a strand or 2. And so that's my silhouette. And if you're new here, the reason I changed the fabric is I really wanted this color to pop. I didn't want you to have to, not you, but people who come visit me, I didn't want them to have to walk up close in order to see the snowflake design. So that's number 1. Don't worry, that went on my bed. Number 2 is by Starlight. This is by Deanna Bach. It is charted by UnconventionalXStitch. And I cropped this, so this is what it should look like. This is what I'm stitching. And I'm currently at 3% now. So there we go. So I filled in missing stitches up in here, and then I started bringing down the whites and the blues, and I will put a picture in of the before. So yeah, I have a lot of fun with this. I'm surprised that the light colors aren't bothering my eyes. Maybe I just like this. This is Silver Moon, Aida instead of white, so it's slightly off white. Yeah. So I was going to see if I could get another one that was white, but the next one I have here is a giant piece. So, but yeah, I'm having fun with that, and I'm hoping this will come back out soon. So that was that one. And then I had Grackles. Grackles came out for the weekend. So okay, if you're new here, my current rotation, which is being tweaked, it has been, moving forward will be slightly different. I have Monday through Thursday, I work on focus pieces. I have 2. One gets 2 weeks, one gets 1 week, and then I spin my remaining big pieces to see what will get the extra week. And then I have one project I work on Sundays, and then Friday, Saturday is something else. So this was my Friday, Saturday piece, and this is Grackles. Artwork is by Omar Rayyan. This is no longer available. It was charted by Heaven Earth Designs. They no longer carry Omar's artwork, but UnconventionalXStitch has been charting some of his pieces. They have not gotten to this one yet. So all I did is I worked from here over, and I found the end of the page. So there were some stitches that were missing in here, and then I just worked across. So that's all that I did, but I was very happy to find that last stitch there. So I will put above it, let's see if I pull it back where it was, and I am currently at 13.27%. And then if I open this up, because it's too long for any of my boards, and you can see here is the whole piece, the whole width of it. Trying to see what you can see. When I started this with these colors here, I was snaking through. So I was starting at the top and working my way. What I do is I will do a half stitch across and then back, and then the next half stitch and back. And then when I get to the bottom, I just turn around and start working my way up. So I kind of snaked through. And that left me with, you can see lines here. So over here, what I did is, this is all one color. I got to go to board working with one color, but this is all one color. And what I did is, I'm trying to get my arm up there. Anyway, I started at the bottom and I worked up, bottom, top. Anyway, instead of going horizontally, I went vertically. And I just worked my way all the way across each one, and 20 stitch high sections, and then I've come down here and I'll do the next 20, and that way there's no stopping between, and my stitches are always being started the same direction, because when you snake, you change, even though your stitch looks the same, you're starting in different holes. So that was what I did with that. Okay, so then one of my other weekend pieces, and this is the piece that is making me change my rotation, and I'll get into that later. This is Feasting Frenzy. I'm stitching this with Elisa from eCrafting Colorado and Selena Bobo Handcrafts. This was a gift, and ta-da! So I was a little tired working up here in the roof line, and so I wanted some color. So I came down and put this bird in, and then I finished this bird, all the stitching on this bird, because I had kind of cut it off. So I filled all that in, all those colors. Let me bring that in. I added a little bit down here of the bird feeder that that bird is sitting on. But yeah, I really, this is a Dimensions kit. And this is the one that's changed my rotation. So I will have to share that with you when we get into plans moving forward. But that was a lot of fun. Here's where it was. I don't have a stitch count on this because I don't count my stitches unless it is in Pattern Keeper. And I don't know if I said this is the Dimensions, and this is on a piece of fabric that I dyed myself. This is an 18 count Aida. And I love how that looks. So yeah, we have that. Okay, so the next one is my Sunday project. This is Only the Lonely. Artwork is by Adrienne Borda, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. And I am currently, oh, I didn't give you percentages, did I? Grackles is at 3.27%. So Only the Lonely is now at 24.52%. And here we go. I was working this page, I finished this page, and I came down here and I started filling in some colors down here. And how I'm working this, there are so many colors in this. This page up here, right here, this page, had almost every color in the chart in that page. I think there were just 3 or 4, something like that, that weren't in that. So what I've decided to do, just to make it fun, because normally I start somewhere at the top, either here or here, and I'll pick whatever color's next and then work my way through. But because there were so many color changes, and I got tired of, I use a double-sided case to store my floss. So, you know, if I'm picking one from the second half of the DMC collection, I've got to work with one side, and if it's the first half, I've got to work with the other side of my case. So I was constantly closing, flipping, opening the case, and I went, done. So I ended up, for here, what I did is I went to the very bottom, and I picked the 3800s. And I just started filling that in. Wherever that was, I stitched it. Then I went to the next color on the list and filled that in. And if I had one that wasn't there, well, then I just went to the next one. And that really sped things up because I wasn't constantly having to adjust my case. So that's Only the Lonely. And look at those colors. This is going to be so beautiful when it's done. Okay, that's my Sunday. Then my random focus piece for the month was Death in the Garden. And this is artwork by Megan Majeski, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. Oh, Only the Lonely is on an 18 count Aida. And it's not Zweigart, it was another brand that I tried out. This is on an 18 count Very Light Pewter by Zweigart. And look at that. So I was working on this page here, and you can see I've almost gotten that page done. Not quite. This week was a crazy week. I ended up getting sick. I slept for like one whole day, you know, and then I was fine the next day, but that one day I was out, and yeah. So, but yeah, this one is now at 20, did I say 24 point, no, 25.46%. So we're now 1/4 of the way through. And that's exciting. That's really exciting. So, oh, there's a piece of fuzz on it. Let me show it to you without the fuzz. There, how's that? Better? And I think when I finish this page, when it comes out again, I might skip this page and come down here just because I'd like to see, this is the top of her head, and I'm thinking I might get to see part of her other eye. And so, yeah, I might not come to this page next. We'll see. For now, this has to go away. Okay, and then my other focus piece was Strength. This is artwork by Nicole Payne. She she paints in oils, and so this was painted in oils. Originally, it was based on a photo shoot that she saw, and I don't have the name with me, but at one point she did credit the photographer. So this was something she was inspired, and she wanted to see what it would look like in oils. And I have 2.5 pages done. So let me show you. Let me pull back and see if I can show you all of her. No, not much. Okay, so what did I do? Maybe if I moved it over here. Okay, maybe. I finished this page right here. Those are her braids or cornrows, dreads, I don't know. And then I finished this page. And then I came down here and got to start on this page. Now, this page with her hair, that only had just over 1,000 stitches to finish. It was 1,069. So that page was very quick. Then that page needed a little bit more work. And this one's not going to take too long down there. If I pull this back, I think I can put a picture in over my face of where it was. This is getting so big to try to show. So yeah, this is Strength. My goal with this is to get somewhere under 100,000 stitches remaining. I would like to have it down around 70, 80,000 to be able to finish it next year. But yeah, so I actually have 2 and then a partial page finished, although that one was pretty much done. So this is also on the same 18 count very light pewter by Zweigart. Yeah, this one is now at 39.48%. So we're getting there. We're really getting there. Okay, so let's move on to plans. What will you see this upcoming month? Well, my very first one you will see is Eyes of the Forest. This is unfortunately no longer available. The artwork is by Ina Bedenko. I am currently at 63.50%. So this is where it is now. And yeah, you can see all of it. And bring her in. So yeah, I will continue working on her. I'm not sure. Now this will be one of my weekly focus pieces. And my focus pieces, what I do is on Monday when I'm going to pull out a focus piece, I look at the 3 projects that I want to work on, and I just pick whatever one's calling to me at that day. So I'm going to show you what my focus pieces will be, but I can't tell you when I'll be working on them. So that's number 1. Number 2 will be Strength, which you just saw. Number 3, my Sunday piece is Only the Lonely. You'll continue to see that. Then my random focus piece is Moonrise Whisper, which is this. This is artwork by Jennifer Taylor, charted by Contemporary Cross. And I'm currently at 0.91%. And here's what I have. A lot of green, a lot of green. This chart is basically almost all green and blues, which, you know, there's some of the light colors in the water there, but I mean, overall, what you're going to see when you look at it, you know, what you normally see is the greens and blues. So I would like to get this further. I'm glad this came out. This is at 0.91%. So I have a long ways to go to get some real progress on this one. But then I'm going to have a new start. April has 5 weeks, basically. You know, yesterday was the 31st, being Monday. I worked on Strength, so it will give a full 4 days this week. I am going to start my next, I had 4 projects that were planned starts, and I thought I would do one per quarter. So we're into the next quarter. It's time I can start one. My granddaughter, I sent her 25 projects that I would like to start. About half of them were things from my wish list and half were things that I already owned. And I asked her to pick 4, and she did. She picked 3 real easily. The 4th one took her a little bit of time. And then I asked her which one I should start first. Moonrise Whisper was what she wanted me to start first. And the one she wanted me to start second is this. This is Brothers, and I'm going to see if I can pronounce the name properly. Yanka Latikova. I'll put the name on the screen. And all of that you see, this is a full coverage. This is by Geek Threads, by the way. All that you see is stitched. So all that white background is stitched. And I'm not stitching that white background. So I have decided to put it on this piece of fabric by Picture This Plus. You can see there's a little bit of modeling in there. This is a green. I don't have the tag on it. Might be jade. I know I've bought jade before, but I'm not sure. Now I had started Feasting Frenzy on this, so I do have to pull out those stitches in the middle there because I didn't like how it was fading into the fabric. But this is all the bigger the piece will be, and it has a total of, I think, because I've eliminated the background, I now only have like 40,000 stitches to do. I'm going to start in the center with the black because the black will pretty much outline everything, and then I can come in and fill in some of the other colors. But I've already marked off all that white in the background. So now I told you that Feasting Frenzy, I decided that I had to change my my rotation. So what I've done is I've decided I want to finish this piece this year. So that would give me 5 projects finished by the end of this year if I can finish this one. And how I'm going to do that is when I spin, let me back up. I went and looked at what I have. I have 20 large projects. If I count the new starts that I will have for the 4 planned new starts, I will have 20 projects. So about half of those I want to finish within the next 2.5 years. So by the end of 2027, I want those projects finished. So when I spin for my weekend, it's all of the projects that I'm not working on as a focus piece at any other point in the month. If what I spin is a project that I want to finish in the next 2.5 years, and I've kind of set them aside, I will give the whole Friday and Saturday to that project. If it's a project that I don't have a finished goal date for, then I will stitch one day, say for example Friday, and the other day I will stitch on Feasting Frenzy. And that way I think I will get this finished. I want to bring those numbers down. Now, I did start a new way of visualizing what I have, a new method to visualize. I received a discount, it was a special, from Snapfish, where you could get magnets and you could put your own images on them. So for example, here's one, and they're all, these little magnets. And so I put all my projects on these, except for my smalls, because that's a waste. And I have 20 of these. Of course, my grandson comes over and counts them and says, "You only have 20. I think you should have 25. Start 5 more." Yet not happening. I want to finish. But yeah, I started looking. Now, when I work on Feasting Frenzy, do I have one here? I don't think I can reach one. I have the smaller Amazon bags that I use for my, to store my projects. Because this was a dimensions kit, I then had you have to like clip the threads. They come on this card. And I tried punching holes on the other end to store my floss once I clipped it. That didn't work. I had some DMC bobbins, but they've got these huge gaps, so it doesn't actually hold the thread in there, the end of your floss. And then because they're on bobbins, I need a way to organize them. So wherever I'm going to stitch, I have to have a flat surface where I can organize them. So here's an example of how I organize when I'm working on Feasting Frenzy. So there are 4 numbers, 4 colors of floss that are in the 6,000 range. And then everything else is 11,000 through 18,000. So you have 11,000, 12,000, so on. And so I put them in groupings. And then I kind of have to keep that steady. You know, I have to make sure I don't mix them up. That floss organization, like I said, this is my second attempt to organize them in a way that would work for me. It just frustrates me. And so I thought, you know what? I wonder, I know where I want to hang Feasting Frenzy when it's done. I wonder if I can finish it. And that's why I've changed my rotation. So, yeah, we'll see. I would like to, you know, in addition to my projects that I've shown you that you will see, there'll be some other ones that come in when I spin for the weekends. I would like to fully finish before Easter my chick and get that on my tree. What else? I think that's about it cross stitch wise. I have not been crocheting. We've had, you wouldn't know it today, we've had some beautiful days. We hit 80 degrees one day and the next day it was 30. And you wonder why people get sick. I just got sick one day, so it was, you know, I woke up with a sore throat and, you know, congestion, and I knocked it out and was fine by the next day. So, yeah, what's been going on? Today, the reason I was flustered and really late was I received a phone call. I met and made friends with a really wonderful woman here in the building. We have a lot in common, and she's had a very interesting life. We've both traveled extensively, but not to the same places, so we get to share those. We've had very similar career paths, and we enjoy each other. We enjoy being together. We enjoy going out and grabbing a bite to eat, going out and listening to live music. We both enjoy museums. We have a lot in common. Problem is, she has some form of dementia, and she has no short-term memory. She can remember everything from years ago, but she can ask you the same question 3-4 times in 5 minutes because she has no recollection of asking you or your answer. I made the mistake of taking her to a movie one time. She said she'd love to go to a movie, and she couldn't follow it because every few minutes she's lost everything she's already seen. She did enjoy the experience. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is this morning I received a phone call that someone couldn't reach her, and they were supposed to be picking her up. She takes art classes. She's very artistic, you know, cross stitch. So, and she loves to come here. She loves to come in my place. She knows I do cross stitch. She knows I have art, but she forgets what it looks like. So she'll every now and then say, you know, what are you doing? Do you want to hang out? And I'd love to see your art. And then she comes in and she's so sweet. She'll put her hands to her heart and she'll say, being here, seeing all your art soothes my soul. And in a way she's right. Art does do that for me. But anyway, today, so I was called on to find her. And yeah, so which is why my hair is a mess. My hair was still wet. I, you know, looked for her at her home. I searched the building for her. I then had to go outside, and there's a restaurant nearby that she will often go to and grab a bite because she doesn't cook, which is good. And of course, they hadn't seen her. So anyway, it's very cold out and it's windy and my hair was wet. And so, yeah, my hair is now doing all kinds of crazy things. We found her. She's safe. She was where she wasn't where she was supposed to be, but she was where she typically can go. She goes to the senior program, but she's not supposed to go today. Today she's supposed to go to something else. and she got her days mixed up and didn't know she was supposed to go to something else. Anyway, we found her. She's fine, but yeah, yeah, I was called on because she and I do so much together that if somebody can't find her, they know to look for me and see if she's with me or if I can find her. She's safe, everything's good, but I was kind of, you know, and that's why this video is so late and why I look like I do. But to end things on a really good note, I was sitting, now I live in a high-rise apartment, and just for context, I live on the 10th floor. I've got amazing, big, beautiful windows that look out, and I have a view that is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But because you're on the 10th floor, you're up high, you don't see things going past your windows. And one day I was putzing around doing things here in the apartment, and something went past my window. And it was large enough that it left a shadow. You know, it was like it cut out the light, kind of, sort of. I don't know how to explain that. And I turned, and of course, by the time I turned to look out the window, it wasn't there. So I went over to the window, and I looked, and there were 3 bald eagles out there flying around, and they kept going out and then back in and flying right in front of my window. And of course, me, you know, I didn't grow up with cell phones. My first thought isn't, oh, let's take a video. So I have no video evidence of this. But in my mind, I can still see it. And there were 2 full-size eagles, and there was one that was smaller. And I kept thinking, that's crazy. And yet when it would come close, it was a bald eagle, but it wasn't full-size. And I'm thinking, no, they're just, you know, the birds are just hatching, if you will, right now, right? This is their time of birth. So it wouldn't be large enough, and it wouldn't be yet time for the parent to be teaching it to fly. And if you've ever seen an eagle teach its young to fly, it's the coolest thing. They'll actually put them on their back and fly and wait for the young one to decide to take off. And so I mentioned to a friend, I said, I don't understand. It got close enough. It was a bald eagle, but it wasn't full size. And she just kind of laughed at me and said, well, no, it would have been last year's young. And I went, yeah, that's right. So anyway, I sat here for the longest time, just in front of my windows, just watching them fly off into the distance and come back. And they literally did. It was my floor, my apartment that they kept flying by. And no, I mean, if I could have put my arm through the window, I couldn't have touched them. But, you know, if I were, you know, 7, 8 feet tall, I might have been able to touch it. So yeah, that was the highlight of my last 2 weeks. I love nature, and so yeah, that was very special to me. So I've shown you quite a bit here that I've dragged out to show you. I hope you like what you've seen. If there's something that has inspired you, I'd love to know. If you have a Geek Threads that you'd like to start with me this month, let me know. It doesn't have to be brothers, but if you do have brothers, I'd love if you stitched along with me. And I think that's all I have for you. So I will be back on the 15th. Today, being April 1st, is April Fool's Day, so let me know if you're playing any pranks. I haven't played a good prank in a while, so I'd love some suggestions. And in the meantime, enjoy the next 2 weeks of stitching, and I will see you soon.